So He made them into fragments, except a large one among them, that they might return to it and question. So Ibrahim a.s., he broke the idols, sparing only one idol. Why? To teach his people a lesson. Why? So that they would realize that these idols are nothing. Why are you afraid of them? You should actually be afraid of Allah. They said, who has done this to our gods? Indeed, he is of the wrongdoers. They said, we heard a young man mention them, who is called Ibrahim. A young man was mentioning the idols, and his name is Ibrahim. They said, then bring him before the eyes of the people, that they may testify. They said, have you done this to our gods, O Ibrahim? He said, rather this, the largest of them did it. He didn't say no. He's not lying over here. He said the largest of them did it. See, he's fine. He's not broken. He must have done it. So ask them if you should be able to speak. The best thing is, why are you asking me? Why would you bother to ask this big idol? Ask the idols that are broken. Who did this to them? So they returned, if they should be able to speak. So they returned to blaming themselves. They realized over there that, come on, these idols cannot speak. They returned to blaming themselves, and they said to each other, indeed, you are the wrongdoers. Ibrahim is right. We are wrong in worshipping these idols. But what happened? Their pride kicked in. Then they reversed themselves, saying, you have already known that these do not speak. They said to Ibrahim, you know that these idols don't speak. He said, then do you worship instead of Allah that which does not benefit you at all, nor harm you? Uff to you and to what you worship instead of Allah. Then will you not reason? You can see that Ibrahim a.s. is getting a little frustrated over here. That don't you understand this? They said, burn him and support your gods if you are to act. You see over here, threats and violence. Blackmail is the way of who? Is the way of those who are defeated in argument, of those who are failures. Allah said, O fire, be coolness and safety upon Ibrahim. Kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim. Wa aradu bihi kaidan. And they intended for him harm, but we made them the greatest losers. Ibrahim a.s. was saved, and they weren't saved. Ibrahim a.s., when he was thrown in the fire, who is it that he relied upon? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he did this, when he broke the idols and he spoke to his people, again, who was he relying upon? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when the people threw him in the fire, again, who is it that he relied upon? Allah. Ibn Abbas radhiallahu anhu said, the last statement of Ibrahim when he was thrown into the fire was, Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel. Right? That sufficient for me is Allah, and He is the best disposer. So look at his trust in Allah. Allah says that I am as my servant thinks I am. So if we have trust in Allah, if we have faith in Him, He will not disappoint us. Look at what happened here. The fire was turned into coolness for Ibrahim. The fire that's supposed to burn, it didn't burn Ibrahim. And we delivered him and Lut to the land which we had blessed for the worlds. Which land is this? The land of Palestine. الَّتِي بَارَكْنَا فِيهَا لِلْعَالَمِينَ. There's barakah in it. There's blessing in it for who? For all the people of the world. Not just a certain group of people. Everyone has a right to that place. Why? Because it has blessing, spiritual blessings, worldly blessings also. You see some places, alright, they are more fertile compared to the others. Alright? And in these places, when you do put a seed, then what will happen? The tree will be very good also. Like for example, when you compare the fruit, the vegetables, which are grown elsewhere, and those which come from this region, the region of Asham, then for sure what comes from Asham, the region of Palestine, that is far more superior. In quality, in appearance, in its taste. Isn't it so? I mean, the food of that region is something amazing. Just look at the olives. Just look at the figs. And not just that, other fruits also, other things also. And the same plant, when it is grown elsewhere, does it produce the same kind of food? No way. It doesn't. Huh? My father tells us of the story about how when he was in university, there was this Palestinian person, and one day they were having these cucumbers. Alright, my father was having cucumbers, and they're like, try some. And the Palestinian person said that, no, these cucumbers? Back home, we give these kind of cucumbers to our animals. You should see what we eat. You should see what we eat. Meaning we have something much better. Right? So, some places are more fertile. When you put a seed over there, its result will be far better. So we need to see, where am I most fertile and most productive? Where is it that I can function best and produce most? Which environment is most conducive to me? Most mubarak for me? Which place, which people, which environment is best for me? What helps me to be most productive? Recognize that place, recognize that time. Because these days you might be struggling with getting your work done. You don't know whether to do it in the morning, in the evening, in the night time, right? When do you do your stuff? So if the entire late morning is spent here until dhuhr, and then you go home and you want to have a nap, and then you wake up and then it's time to prepare for suhoor, and then it's time for tarawih, and then it's time for sleep, and then it's time for, something or the other, right? Iftar, suhoor, everything, it takes up your whole day. So recognize what is the time when you have most energy, so that you can get your work done. What is that time? And stick to it. And we gave him Ishaq and Yaqub in addition. And all of them we made righteous.